Hello, everybody. We're live. Instead of the two alpha talks, you got a one alpha talk. I'm here, and we're going to talk about some stuff to either figure out how to get on, or we'll just do a show without them. All right. See you later. All right. I'm back, and Al's having technical difficulties. That's why it's not here, everybody. So we're going to be running the show solo tonight, unless he comes on. We'll figure it out. And turn some of this background audio off. All right. So, before I go any farther, I want to tell everybody October 15th, we're having a meet and greet Saber Team Tactical at South River. I will be doing some ads later on, and we're going to be inviting all previous and past students, newbies, intermediate and advanced people to come out and meet and greet with us and talk to us and hang out. We're also going to be in Tactical Bay 1. We're going to be doing some shooting. It's going to be pistols only, to bring no rifles. And I'll have a loadout of what you need to bring and everything once I get it all set up on the website so you guys can sign up. There's a $30 fee that you're going to have to pay. Bring a lunch and some snacks, water, and we're going to be out there from 10 to maybe about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And we're going to run some pistol scenarios and have you guys doing some movement and shooting. If you're not that good with firearms, this be the best place for you. We can have all our instructors out there and we can help them. You can see how we act. And if you guys want to take some classes from us later on, this would be ideal. Also, too, the special event, people we have bringing some guests out, and that's going to be Pro 2A Tactical. They're going to be coming out and bringing some of their rifles so you guys can test fire them and shoot them for free. And if you guys want to purchase some of their gear, you can go ahead and do some of that too. They're a federal firearms licensed dealer that's in Alpharetta, and you guys can they got some great prices. Some of their prices are comparable to Palmetto State Armory. And these are local guys, local guns. They make some of the best American made stuff you ever want to see. So keep in mind and keep a lookout for that. That's going to happen. Also, too, next weekend, we're going to probably have a special guest. And I'll probably announce that a little bit more when it comes on Thursday when I talk about special guests and what we're going to have. But don't miss that. There's going to be some great opportunities for you guys to get some discounts on a specific item. So before we go any farther, I want to thank the sponsor who carries this show, and that is the main company, Saber Team Tactical. Type in saberteamtactical.com and go to classes. And our number one biggest seller right now is the private 101 classes. Those are 150, and you get it up close and personal with a private instructor. It's going to have you on the range. He'll take you from beginner to intermediate in no time if you sign up for multiple classes, not just one. You got to do multiple in order to get good, because shooting is a perishable skill. If you guys didn't realize that, you know it today. Any of the other classes we have that the dates are pending, those classes have passed for the year, but these classes can be activated with 2 or more students. And if you guys have a shooting group, a church group, or a social group, you guys want to come out and do some shooting. If you guys have firearms, bring them out. Oh, kick me out. Look at that. All right. All right, I'm back. I don't know what you guys heard or what you didn't hear. Um, but we'll go from there. Let's see what happened here. Things always messes up when I'm not looking at it. See, if I had somebody else here, they'd be able to see what's going on. So, for tonight, we're on Twitch, we're on Kick, and we're on the mighty YouTube, and YouTube is always there. And our favorite and the number one show we love to be on is Rumble. So Rumble, we're on live on Rumble. Now, for you guys on YouTube and Rumble, please like the page, like the video on YouTube. YouTube is censoring us and blocking us. We'll never get monetized on YouTube. They don't even want this content over there. They gave us a strike this year. So they're doing everything they can to get rid of us. All right. Yep, I'm back. I don't know how much you guys heard when I went off the air or whatever, but we're just gonna keep on trucking on. And so click on the YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Like it on YouTube. Really doesn't help much. It helps a little bit, but not much. YouTube is doing everything it can to silence this channel. On Rumble, go to rumble.com, go into the search bar, and you can actually see the show under the Two Alphas Talk. And spaces in the word the Two Alphas Talk. And you'll find it. Create an account and subscribe to the Two Alphas Talk channel. And from there, we will when we go live, you'll be able to see the icons come up on your phone or tablet or email, and it'll let you know when we're live or not. So let's get into the show. So tonight's show, I want to talk about a couple of things. One of them is the New Mexico governor. You guys heard what happened in New Mexico about a week ago. New Mexico governor, she went ahead and because they had some violence where a young child got killed. And so what she did was, in order to fix the violence, instead of actually going after the criminals, she decided to suspend all concealed carry permits that you could not carry them anywhere in their vicinity. And so in the city or any ordinance anywhere for 30 days, the only person that was going to affect was the citizens of the New Mexico. She's clearly anti-gun. And what she was trying to claim, the reason she can do this, she was trying to declare an emergency, and she has governmental powers to declare emergencies to stop and suspend the Second Amendment in her state. Isn't that something? That is their whole goal, is to suspend the Second Amendment. And they tried to do it there. However, the sheriffs and the police chief that was sitting there with her came out with immediately right after and said the sheriff is not going to support it. They're not going to enforce it. The local police said they're not going to enforce it. They're not going to support it. And just today, a federal judge came down and said New Mexico governor, what she did was totally unconstitutional and illegal. You cannot wipe out the Second Amendment, the Constitution, away from your state. It cannot happen, So apparently she thought she had enough power to actually do this on her own. That's the way anti-gun Democrat liberals are. They really, they want to get rid of guns 100%. And they're going to try it again this year. And, they bring in the cough back, and they bring in the shots back. And so they're going to try to bring down lockdowns again. And this probably was a test run for her and other governors to see if they can actually do it. Well, the citizens in that state are not putting up with it. They actually did some marches, and they're on the verge of actually going to civil war in that state if this is enforced. So they're standing up. But all the citizens that went out and rallied for them, what she's going to do is create that as a January 6th scenario and having all their pictures. And I think she's going to try to prosecute all those people who went out and had firearms on them that day and rallied, because they were going against an ordinance. So his rumor is that she's trying to get the state police to enforce the law. So if that happens, those people there who were in those, who did those rallies and stuff, they're going to probably be charged, and their Second Amendment rights are going to be taken away. That's what she's planning on doing. So there's several lawsuits are going from several different groups right now. But the federal judge has already shot down her ban. So this federal lawsuit is probably going to go for monetary purposes against her, and yep, it's good for them. Yep, coach. And they won, but like I said, they're looking at, she's going to try to prosecute them. She's going to try to take away their gun rights. Now, if you guys notice what happened here, and Democrats just exposed themselves again. They're trying to go after law-abiding citizens. This has nothing to do with curbing violence. This has nothing to do with trying to stop the criminal element, because criminals are not going to do anything. And she was asked inside the meeting, is this going to be able to stop the criminals? And she said no. Criminals are still going to walk around with their guns. Now they know citizens are unarmed. They are going to try, it's just going to be like California out there. California people getting robbed just by walking down the streets. Cars are getting broken into once you park them. And the crooks stand out there with guns in their hands. And what are you going to do? You fight back to try to get them, and you're going to jail. It's already been proven. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of all guns at all costs. And there's a reason. You look at the guns being taken away and the cough coming back. They're going to try to shut down the economy again. We got elections coming up. And if they can get all this stuff done, and the people fell for it the first time, and they're thinking the people are going to fall for it again the second time. So I don't think they realize people are not going to fall for this thing again. You know what I'm saying? They can do everything they want to do, but this time it's not going to happen, And that's the beautiful thing about it, is people are finally waking up and seeing what's going on. And it's really nasty that the Democrats really don't care. And the Republican Party is so lame that they really don't want to fight back to these guys and try to stop them. They're just going right along with it, because the Democrats and the Republican Party are pretty much the same. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to take an outsider in order to make this whole thing change. So it's really nasty to see this, that they're willing to destroy the United States in order to gain political gain or financial gain. That's what it's all about. This is all about money. You see them every day giving tens and thousands of dollars to a country overseas, when we have a fire that happens in a Hawaii area, and the only thing they get is $700. You got two millionaires who protest and wanted you guys to give money to the people in Hawaii. One of them is a multimillionaire and the other one's a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Money and power, coach. Yep. And they have the audacity to ask the average struggling American citizens to donate to their $10 million fund. Oprah could have gave $10 million like that. I mean, she didn't even have to think about it. She could have just said, "Hey, I'm donating 10 million, boom, to everybody." Yeah, I mean, to help the cause, and like it was nothing. She didn't have to ask for no donations. What's wrong with that woman? I mean, it's like they, they treating everybody like peasants, man. It's like eat your cake, you know what I'm saying? And you mean nothing to me because I'm filthy rich, And The Rock, he has some nerve to even be sitting up here doing the crap too. He's from Hawaii. He knows better. You know what I'm saying? But these are the powers and elite. They know more than you do. You know what I'm saying? So they're also saying that they know more than you do when it comes down to your firearms and your constitution. You know what I'm saying? So they're saying you get rid of them. If they can get rid of the Second Amendment out of the Constitution today, they'll do it. But what they're doing is grooming this younger generation to get old enough to vote away their constitutional rights. And they're going to do it if you guys don't train these younger generations to do right, and to understand what this country was built on, what freedom is really is, and what the Constitution is about, because they're not teaching it. Only thing they're teaching is Marxism, socialism, and saying capitalism is bad, and these kids are falling for it. You know what I'm saying? So you as parents, you as mentors, you guys got to reach out to these younger generation who are becoming votable age, who are in school and going to college, and you got to reach out to them, especially if they come into our world, which our world is the firearms world, Second Amendment world. If they come into our world, we got to reach out to them and let them know why we have these firearms. They're not just for collecting, hunting. The Second Amendment is there for a tyrannical government. And the more and more this country goes down this road, the more and more we're seeing a tyrannical government. And a lot of people was trying to say, well, Trump was in a tyrannical government. He's the outsider. And you see what they're trying to do to him. They're trying to destroy him, but he's getting more support because everybody realized what's going on. If we lose this, if this election goes the way they want it to go, you might as well say goodbye to the Second Amendment, your First Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment. And because they're already talking about censoring false information when it comes down to the cough. You got those guys overseas are talking about doing it, and so they're talking about stopping a lot of stuff. Luckily, we got X. X is not owned and controlled by them anymore, so the government won't be able to put their hands in there and try to stop stuff that's happening. We're gonna have free information. We got Truth Social. We got another place where you go for free information. It's gonna be going back and forth, but they're gonna be trying to censor everything that's coming out. As close to we get to this election, they're gonna be trying to censor and stop stuff. So keep on the lookout. And I tell everybody, and I'm going to tell everybody again, get you at least 3 months food supplies and water. Get you guns and ammunition, and have a security safety plan for your family to rally up and be somewhere safe. Because when what's going to happen, these blue states are going to go into lockdown mode first. And if they can go into lockdown mode, that criminal element is going to be running around just wreaking havoc, and they're already doing it, so be prepared, people. Do not, if you can get out there and buy firearms now, buy them now. If you can't afford them, go to Palmetto website. You can pick up a dagger for under $250 and have it shipped to a local FFL, then pay the transfer fees, and you got a nice handgun. So there's ways. You can go to your local pawn shop. You can pick up guns for under $350. That's Glocks. And most of these places got layaways, so you can, if you can't afford to get it all at once, you can put a little bit 10% down and go and pay it off. And I don't know if they still have some of the 30-day layaway periods, but you can pay those firearms off. So, but at least have something to protect yourself and your family. If it's your first time with a firearm, look us up if you're in the Georgia area. We train beginners, intermediate, and advanced students, and hit us up, and we'll take you out to the range and spend a couple of hours out there with you and get you proficient at shooting. The biggest joke, reference not to the New Mexico governor, but the biggest joke to a lot of you new shooters, you guys go to the range, the indoor ranges, and you're shooting at targets that about 7 yards away, and you can't even hit that properly. But that's because you're not seeking out the instruction that's out there. It's not that expensive to take a course, and you guys spend that on liquor most of the time on the weekends. So, like a lot of places have sizzle. You can divide the payments into 4 payments. Yeah, which is true. And so there's plenty of ways to get a firearm to a law-abiding citizen who doesn't have a criminal background. And because you will have to take a background check. There's no freebies. There's no loopholes. You got to do a background check. You got to fill out a 4473. Don't lie on it. If you do, you will not be getting that firearm. Be honest with yourself and what's going on. That's what's happening in the news in New Mexico. Oh, New Mexico. I forgot. She just issued a ban today, stating that what is it? She just issued a ban today, reducing gun restriction in Albuquerque parks and playgrounds. So that means any parks and playgrounds, if you can't be walking around in that state parks and playgrounds. You cannot have a firearm in those areas. Isn't that something? So she's still doing it. Yep. Parks. Yep. Parks. So she's not stopping. She knew she was, the state ban on the Second Amendment got shot down. So now she's going after something that's in her jurisdiction, and that's the parks. That's under the state. So now if you get caught in those areas with a firearm on, you're going to be charged. They're going to seize your firearm, and they're going to take it away, and they're going to probably charge you with a Class B felony or something like that, and you'll lose your gun rights. That's what it's all about. She's trying to get as many people as they can to lose their gun rights. And don't fall for the rope-a-dope out there, people in New Mexico. Don't challenge something that you can lose at, because it's not worth it at that point. Just stick to the stuff that's legal for you guys, and don't challenge the illegal stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because she wants you to mess up so you can lose your gun rights, and she'll laugh about it. So it's really not worth it. Now, there's something I wanted to talk with Al about, and then he was on here if he was here, but we'll go ahead and dive head and nose into this subject. Instructors from 20 years ago to compare today. What's different? Why the instructors today are not the same instructors we had 20 years ago? Well, I blame it on social media for number one, because everybody's trying to post social media pics of them doing sensationalized stuff with the lack of safety involved. Instructors 20 years ago dealt with safety, and you see a lot of instructors today where they're too busy holding the camera and filming the students' movements, and instead of actually being one arm length with the students, and you see the students are struggling, but the instructor's too busy videotaping and trying to post the stuff on the gram than trying to keep the students safe. Um, then you see a lot of instructors who are from the old school are highly skilled in shooting. They can shoot themselves. The instructors today can barely shoot better than the students. You know, most instructors don't even give demonstrations of what they're talking about or what they want their students to do. And so that's one of the biggest things. If you're going to go out and you're going to take a class from an instructor, make sure that instructor gives a demonstration of what they want you to do in order to see it, so you can see their shooting skills. And if they can't perform that skill that they want you to do, and you actually shooting better than them, either ask for your money back or do not take another class from that instructor. A lot of these instructors are taking, well, the instructors from 20 years ago had to do hands-on classes and learn the stuff from, most of them had police backgrounds. You can say some of them had military backgrounds if they dealt with, depends on what they dealt with. If they dealt with rifles, if I'm taking a rifle class from a guy who has a rifle background, yeah. For instance, myself, I had a heavy duty, heavy weapons and rifle background, but I spent 4 years taking courses to better myself to be a better pistol shooter. And then I shot competition. And so, but a lot of these cats, they're not doing that. They're not even trying to challenge themselves. They'll go out and shoot on their own and run around and will not take not one competition event to see where they stand against other people of their peers, because they're scared they're going to embarrass themselves and flaw and look bad. If you are that intimidated by other instructors, you don't need to be doing you don't need to be an instructor. For instance, a lot of instructors, once they take those initial classes, they do not take any other classes from any other instructors to actually keep their skill, to humble themselves, to keep their skill set up, because they know they will get embarrassed. If you ever go out to a range, it's amazing to go out to a range, especially all these new instructors. Most of these guys are correspondent courses. They're not actually getting out there and taking a lot of classes. Well, is that competition will get you killed in the street? Yes, it will. But it will also enhance you to learn how to do fast reloads and malfunction drills. So there is a upside to some competition. It'll learn you to learn the mechanics of your firearm. And that's what a lot of people, they're not comfortable with. And because when a malfunction happens in a competition, nobody's there to help you fix it. You got to fix it yourself. So it should automatically learn you how to fix that. And it should learn you how to automatically do your reloads and get that gun back in battery. But shooting in for defensive posture, competition is not the way to go. But it has some pluses to it. And so, but you have an instructors back in the day that will give you hands-on instruction. There was no internet. There was no YouTube. So you had to learn it from that instructor, and that instructor showed you that they were excellent shooters. They demonstrated it. They put you through the paces and told you where your weaknesses and your strengths were. The instructors today, you watch them. They're spending more time on the internet showing you how they shoot, how they're running and moving. And they're not even skilled at movement techniques, And so why are you teaching something you're not good at, or haven't taken a class from somebody that just specify in movement, or just dedicate yourself to taking a class from shooting on the move, or taking a class from an instructor that you can go with primary and secondary? A lot of the instructors you see online, you see so many flaws in this stuff, and but they post it up, then it is so many people giving them accolades from it. It's amazing, you know. And so you're like, wow. I mean, they're teaching that. I mean, I seen instructors trying to teach battle movement classes, and these instructors did not have the background to do it. They didn't do it in real life. They didn't even take a class from somebody who actually done it, but they saw something on YouTube and they figured they can mimic it. You know, that's the most dangerous thing you can ever do. And if you go read their comments are just people just clapping them up, just going nuts. You know, the instructors 20 years ago didn't have the internet. The only thing they had was word of mouth from people saying, hey, this is a good instructor. You go take a class from this guy. You know, and when you got there, you realize that was a good class. You know, I mean, everybody thinking all these new people today thinking they can get rich from being instructors. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody's got a new caveat. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, you got ladies teaching ladies, guys teaching stuff that's way beyond their skill level. You know what I'm saying? But you see them out there and doing it, and they always tell you, I'm gonna come take a class from you. You know why they're gonna take a class from you. Yeah, they're gonna take a class from you so they can learn your stuff and go out there and reteach it. You never see them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I teach it to them, but you're gonna have to pay for it. I'm not giving you a freebie class because I know exactly what you're planning on doing. You know what I'm saying? Only a few guys that are in my circle that can come to any of my classes and do that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I know their skill level is very high and they're not going to go out there and try to abuse what I teach them. You know what I'm saying? We all have a different set of skill levels. You know what I'm saying? And so, me, myself, I take classes. I go and humble myself and take a class from another instructor. You know, I do that all the time. It may not be something in the shooting wheelhouse, it could be something in maybe I'm listening to about the law, doing a refresher on the law. I can be doing something that on a higher level of training, and but I'm going to be mentally and physically prepared for it. A lot of the instructors today, you look at them, look at the gear. I mean, most of them they're running around with tack gear on, and they have no idea why they're even wearing it. Most of them are not even wearing plates in the plate carriers. The plate carriers are not even tightened down. They're not even wearing them right. The gear is from Amazon. You can see it. It's Chinese gear. You know what I'm saying? But they think they look good. The rifle's slung way too low. You know, the holster is usually some cheap eBay holster. You know, well, eBay got some good holsters if you know what to look for. But I would say dollar store holsters, you know what I'm saying? But they're calling themselves instructors with cheap gear. You know, how are you an instructor with cheap gear? Yep, WK, thank you. How are you an instructor with cheap gear? You know what I'm saying? And that should be a clue. But I guess the beginners they're teaching, they got cheap gear too. So they look at your cheap gear and they say, oh, that must be good gear because it's all, you know, I paid nothing for it. You know what I'm saying? So it must work, you know, and then you go and give a demonstration on how that cheap gear and your cheap shooting skills work. You know what I'm saying? It sucks. Like WK said, hit the thumbs up button, y'all, on YouTube and Rumble, please. Like the show. Like the show. And so it's really bad. I mean, we even got a lot of the old instructors. I mean, when I used to go out and take classes, you used to have to seek a person out and go in order to take a class on how to shoot out of a car. You know what I'm saying? These new instructors today just going out there, they don't take a class from a person to learn the ins and outs. They just go out there and like, boom, here I am. We're shooting out of a car. We don't even know why we're shooting out of a car, how to shoot out of a car, what's the reason to shoot out of a car. We don't know the angles to shoot out of a car. We just doing it and videotape and showing it on the internet, and everybody goes nuts. I want to take that class. Yeah, you good, you training, all this other good stuff. And you can see they're struggling, you know what I'm saying? But nobody says anything. You know, they just let it go. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that's the way it is. It's crazy. A lot of the older instructors back then in 20 years ago didn't have a lot of high tech gear. They didn't have a lot of plate carriers. We didn't have plate carriers 20 years ago. That's something new that came out during recently in the war, war on terrors and all this other stuff. And then the civilians ended up getting plate carriers and steel plates, and everybody wants to run that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't running enough ammunition on all your gear, but that's a whole nother subject. But they're trying to teach. For instance, I saw on Instagram a guy published. It was a medical class, and it looked similar to what I was doing. However, it was a mess. It was a complete mess from what I've seen in the video. It was nothing focused on the medical procedure. It looked like everything was focused on sensationalism, getting the video shots, making everything look good. You know what I'm saying? It was a complete joke, complete mess. I don't know if the people actually learned anything from it, but they sitting there giving a thumbs up like they enjoyed it. Some of the best stuff I've ever seen. I have a background in medical in the Army. I was reconnaissance, but I went through a combat lifesaver course. I carried an IV bag. I carried tourniquets. You know what I'm saying? Each guy, we had 2 guys on our teams who were combat lifesavers, and they carried those bags. So if anybody got on the hit on the team, we can go ahead and do enough life-saving procedures where we can keep that person alive to the medevac came in. So, but a lot of these new instructors, they are just watching the YouTube. They're not taking classes from, you got medical guys out there. You got doctors out there teaching this stuff. Majority of them I have seen some of them are taking some of those courses from those people and trying to reteach it. But take a certification class from those guys and learn from them the proper way to actually teach. The instructors 20 years ago knew how to teach. They knew how to relay the information where you can understand it. The instructors today talk at you. They're mostly trying to boast and brag, that they're going to spend 15, 20 minutes talking about themselves instead of about what you need to do in order to shoot this course of fire, or what your training assignments are today. You don't need to talk about yourself. You just need to talk about what they need to achieve and how they're going to achieve it and help them achieve it. A lot of instructors I see are out of shape. I mean, seriously out of shape. And I'm just like, Jesus, how are you actually trying to teach a tactical course and you weighing over 300 pounds? Doesn't make sense. And you got a instead of having an extra large tactical vest on, you got a medium on, and it looks looks like you got a tie on, So it's ridiculous. You guys got to stop this madness. This is actually madness. I've seen guys out there who got full tack gear on, boots, knee pads, elbow pads, helmets, radios, all this stuff. Never served a day in their life in the military, but they got all the gear. I mean, they got laser pointers on their on their rifles for calling in airstrikes, or for night gear, night vision goggles. I mean, they all who it out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some of the best Call of Duty gear you can ever money can buy. These guys got it. You know what I'm saying? They got unlimited funds, some of them. So they get all the gear and they play. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're taking classes that shows you how to use that gear properly. It's not just worn to be worn. That gear has a purpose. Each piece of gear you put on your body has a purpose. And if you don't understand the purpose and how to use it and wear it, don't wear it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just going to embarrass yourself. I've seen guys come out to the range with tack gear on with the magazine pouches upside down. I've seen guys come out to the range where you have the magazines wasn't even tied in properly in the tack gear. You know, where you're supposed to dress them through. They just have them looped on and you can just snatch them right off. I've seen guys come out there with the magazines upside down inside the magazine pouches. You know, so you had the bullets facing up instead of facing down. You know, so it's ridiculous. You see them come out to the range instead of having a drop leg wearing a tactical vest, they have it on their hip. You know how hard it is to draw a gun from your hip wearing a tactical vest? It's very difficult. You got to actually move to the side and actually do it. But if you have a drop leg, it's a lot more easier to do. But they don't want to spend the money on drop legs. Cheap drop legs will run you about $50, but a good drop leg runs you about $200. They don't want to spend the money, but they'll spend the money on that Gucci gun. You know, the gun's all tricked out, but they won't spend the money on gear. And instructors today are notorious about that. Notorious. Just look at them. Only thing I have to say is everybody here, go on Instagram and look at those instructors' pages. Look at the pictures they post. Look at the rifle. Look at their optic. Look at the gear. Look at the mass and how overweight they are. You know, and you ask yourself, do you want to learn from that person? This is a guy that can't even probably, or a girl that can't even walk a mile with extra 60 pounds in their back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm in my 60s and I walk 18 miles a week. You know what I'm saying? I can walk 6 miles in an hour and a half. Come on. You know, I challenge anybody to try to come out and beat me that's at my age, or you know, you, as long as you ain't in your 20s, it's gonna, you know, we can work it. But if you're in your 30s and 40s, come on out. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got to keep your fitness up. You got to keep in shape, because wearing that extra gear is going to put a toll on your body. Like I said, the instructors 20 years ago didn't have that gear. They didn't have to worry about it. The only thing they concentrated on was the gun and the magazines. And we didn't have a lot of, well, the AR just barely came into circulation. A lot of people are still running AKs. So they didn't have a lot of plate. You know, they had the old magazine carriers. Nobody carried plates and all that stuff. But if you guys are going to carry 7 magazines, you're going to carry water, you're going to carry a plate carrier, you're going to carry a tack vest that you're going to wear. You shouldn't be wearing cotton underneath the tack vest. It's a little secret. You're going to become a heat casualty. That's all that's going to happen. You know, it sucks. WK, women wearing, yeah, hater and yoga pants and saying they're instructors. Yeah. Why are you wearing yoga pants? What, where? It doesn't make sense, you know? And you see it all on the internet. And mostly a lot of females instructors, they need to stop sexualizing themselves, you know? You don't need to sexualize yourself to get your point across. There's no need for that. If you're a good instructor, you don't need to sexualize yourself. Just go ahead and teach, because you're giving the guys, yeah, you're getting the likes, you're getting the accolades, but you're giving everybody a wrong impression about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it's really bad. So there's a lot of guys, you guys need to get your safety together, because that's what you're lacking the most is safety. And you guys suck at it. And I'll be the first one to tell you. I don't say much to you guys on the internet, because you guys get your feelings hurt. You get all butt hurt. You start going in tears and all this other stuff. And I really don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? You can do what you want to do. Get somebody hurt. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? But I just look and shake my head. But I have a voice here, and I can say what I want to say, because I have freedom of speech, and I haven't mentioned any of you clowns. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? People, if you're beginners, seek out reputable instructors. Look at these guys' background, talk to previous students, check out their reviews, look at their gear, their equipment. If you don't know, ask somebody else who's an instructor to say if this is a good instructor. I have no problem with that. And it's the same thing you do with me. You critique me, you look at my stuff, you look at my background, you look at the reviews and see how long we've been in existence. A lot of these guys have been in existence for over a year, and they sitting up here trying to act like they're the best thing since sliced bread. So be very cautious of that, and be very cautious of joining an organization that's out there trying to teach you guys how to shoot. If you're not shooting at distance, anything beyond 7 yards, you will never grow and be a better shooter. You got to take it farther. You got to shoot at 10 yards. You got to shoot at 15 yards. You got to shoot at 20 yards. If you cannot achieve shooting anything beyond 4 to 7 yards, and that's all they want you to do, there's a problem. Because that's not shooting. That's just pulling the trigger and point shooting. I can do that all day long and make it look good. But when you get into 20 yards, when you get into 17 yards and 10 yards, anything beyond that 7-yard threshold, that's when shooting becomes a real challenge, especially if you're shooting iron sights. Okay, but everybody today are shooting with RMRs. RMRs makes you a better shooter. I do have to admit that, especially at distance. And so if you know how to zero an RMR, if you don't know how to zero it and you just throw it on there and go to the range and think you're just going to shoot and it's going to make you a better shooter, no, you have to zero an RMR. And there's certain ways you have to do it. Take a class from an instructor that knows about RMRs, and they will show you how to zero it. They'll show you how to shoot it. They'll show you how to find the dot. They'll show you everything. There's techniques. There's so many instructors out there that leveled up their skill set in order to do that. I went out and bought a bunch of RMRs. I'm shooting RMRs now, so but I'm still shooting iron sights too, and so but I'm going to take a class with an instructor who teaches RMR, even though I've zeroed my own. I'm going to take a class with an instructor soon and get that under my belt, so I have another tool to help assess and teach students with. So you never stop training, never stop learning. And that's the biggest problems with a lot of these new shooters compared to the old ones. The old ones would take classes from each other. I remember back in the day, old instructors would seek out other instructors and say, hey, I'm going to come take a class from you. All right, cool. Come on, take a class. You know what I'm saying? And then the next thing you know, you go and take a class from that instructor. You know what I'm saying? These new instructors today, they come to your class and they try to take over the class. It's like, humble yourself. I'm teaching something you don't know. Why are you trying to take over my class with something you have no clue or idea about? Talking about yourself, sitting there trying to poach the students from my class to your class. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. No honor among thieves. None. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I got the knowledge. You don't. And that's what makes me different from you. You know? And I've done some of this stuff in real life. You haven't. You know? So, especially some of the tactical stuff, it would behoove you to come learn some of this stuff from me before I get too old to teach it. You know what I'm saying? So we got a lot of guys out there that's going to be teaching this stuff. There's higher level guys out there that I know of on the SF level are actually teaching some of this stuff. And I'll be out there with them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about you. I'll be with them. So we carried this whole show by myself tonight. Al didn't show up. He was having technical difficulties. I know his computer was messed up. Either that or he's drunk. One and two. So with that, I want to tell you guys, like the damn channel. Like the channel on YouTube and Rumble. Please. YouTube, like it, share it. Rumble, like it, share it. I'll be throwing it up on all the social media platforms later on. So you guys who didn't watch it now and live, you can watch it later on. All right. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And I'm going to see you guys in the range next time. Hey.